AITA for refusing to name my son after me? My family have a tradition going back 6 generations in which the firstborn son is named William. My father and I go by our middle names to avoid confusion, whilst my grandfather is known as Bill. It's not that I don't like tradition, it's just that my middle name, James, is the name I've always been known as, and I always hated being made fun of when I was younger. Especially at school, when a new teacher would inevitably call out my actual first name when taking the register. And all of the other kids would laugh at me for trying to explain that I didn't want to be called that. Now I am an adult, I know that if I wanted to, I could legally change my name by deed poll. But I guess I've just got used to the inconvenience. And at this stage of my life, it's more of a conversation starter if anything else. I also understand that of all of the things to be made fun of when younger, it's pretty low down on the list, and some people would just say I'm being petty. Anyway, I have recently become a father to a beautiful baby boy, and to my family's horror, we have named him Ezra, which both me and my partner love. We've still given him the middle name William. But this is not good enough for my family, who have practically not acknowledged my son's name at all. He's 3 months old now, and whenever they interact with him, he's referred to as Junior, the child. All I really want for Ezra is for him to feel like he's his own person when he grows up, to not feel like there is some kind of burden on him to live up to any expectations we might have for him, like I suppose I've always felt somewhat, and to feel comfortable knowing that any decisions he makes, me and his mom will always support him. This is what makes me stand by our decision. But I can't help but feel guilt for breaking the tradition, and that there is now a slight rift between me and my family, especially my dad. AITA for not naming my son William? NTA. You need to initiate consequences for when your extended family don't use Ezra's name. End visits. End phone calls. Return any cards and gifts not addressed to his actual name. Congratulations on the new baby. NTA. You and your partner can name your children whatever you like. You did not start this tradition and had no say in it, so your family has no say in whether you'd like it going or not. I actually love that you still kept the tradition by giving William as middle nom. That should be plenty enough. Please don't feel like the for naming your child. NTA. He's referred to as Junior, the child. I suggest you do the same with them. Always refer to them as the senior, or the mother, etc. See how long it takes them to catch on. Had a similar situation with my ex-in-laws. Won't go into the details, but they had a 2-name tradition. You're allowed to swap the names around, but it has to be those 2 names. My ex and I chose 2 completely different boys' names. He chose a new name because of childhood teasing, and I chose a middle name because, well, my baby too, right? EX Phil went nuts. Said the baby should have one of his names. I pointed out that the surname is his. We had girls anyway, so it didn't matter in the end. But what did matter was the feeling that my opinion was unimportant, and they made me feel like nothing more than an incubator for their grandchildren. I have the last laugh. The ex and his parents were awful people, so I experienced schadenfreude at the reminder that a laughable name will almost certainly die out with my ex. My point here is, this baby does not just belong in OP's family, the baby has a mother too, who may have her own traditions or might just want to pluck a name out of nowhere because she likes it. She gets a say too. Edited because I worded something awkwardly. New. The post doesn't mention whether the OP's family took her opinions or feelings into account. Original. Why is she not even mentioned in this post? Quote. NTA. Op. NTA. I feel for you. We have something similar in my husband's family. The men all have the same middle name. Well, I sucked it up for my first son, but when my second was born, I wanted a middle name from my side of the family. My Phil went nuts and said son too wasn't his real grandson as he didn't have the name. I told him he was being ridiculous and to suck it up. He did get over it eventually. He was extremely old-fashioned and came from old money. NTA. They should be grateful that they've got such good lives if this is all they have to worry about. NTA. First, every person, yes, children included, is entitled to have their own name, and not be junior, the third, 10th in a row, etc. Of course, you can do the latter but only if you want to. Second of all, it seems your family forgets that despite their traditions, your son has two parents. And unless you are marrying your cousin, your partner comes from a different family and may not like this tradition at all. She is entitled to veto a name as an equal partner. And, you know, the person carrying the baby and giving birth. NTA. I get it's something your family is big on, but you have your own life, own family, and can name your child whatever you and your partner like. NTA. Tradition for tradition's sake is pointless. And in future, when they call him anything like Junior or the child, end the call. If they're at your house, make them leave. If you're not, you leave. Make it clear that if this is their hill to die on, they die alone on it. Edit. Fixed an extra word. NTA. Tradition is just peer pressure from dead people. It's not up to anyone else but you and your partner. Your family refusing to call Ezra by his name is extremely disrespectful and immature. NTA. You gave your son the name William. He just is not called by it day to day. Which is exactly what happened with you and your dad. Your family is being ridiculous and petty. NTA. That's the stupidest tradition. Everyone I know in that situation has done what you've done and gone by middle names, nicknames, etc. Had screw-ups with various accounts, mail, etc. It's such a weird, dumb thing. I'm always so glad to hear when people break that cycle of insanity. NTA. It is your baby, not theirs. NTA. It's your child and Ezra is a bomb name. As far as I am aware, your family are being donks and that's on them because it will come back to bite them in the butt. When Ezra doesn't want to be close with them because they refuse to be respectful. I mean, if he wants to go by William or another name later, cool, but for now, Ezra it is. NTA. You should start referring to your family as the people we never see anymore. NTA. Using the traditional name as a middle name is a nice compromise. But honestly, you don't even need to do that. Another thing to take on board. In our society now, adults in the same family having the same name is something of a potential problem with regards to things like criminal records, background checks, identity theft, debt, mortgages, loans, passports, international travel. Having 6 feet William Jeffersons in the same family will cause issues. NTA. And your family needs a shake. They think being spiteful to you will change your mind. Set them straight as soon as you can. The person they're picking on is a friggin' baby. And having grandma call him the child is not good for a baby's development. They are disgusting. NTA. Don't get these absurd traditions that just steamroll over children's individuality or parents' name preferences. Even royalty alternate names over generations. Tell them they had their naming time when they named you. Otherwise your kid, your and your partner rules. Tell them to butt out before they find themselves iced out for being assholes over something as absurd of you and your partner choosing the name you want for your child. NTA, and I would make it clear until they can respect you and your wife and call your baby by his proper name, they are not allowed to come near either of you. That you will not accept them belittling and bullying a baby over his name. That you and your wife are the parents and the only ones with a say regarding anything to do with your child, until they can act like adults, apologize and stop disrespecting you. Then they shouldn't expect you to have anything to do with them nor let them near your child. It's more than a name, it's them openly being rude and in effect punishing a child. I know he is just a baby, but how long do you think they might intend to do this? As it will eventually affect your son if you don't put them in their place and stop this now. NTA. Your son. Name him whatever you and your partner agree to. Just because something is determined to be a family tradition does not mean that you have to do it if you don't want to. Also, refusing to refer to Ezra by his name because it isn't William is just petty and childish.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Aircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.